life probably won't be that much different than it is now. Except the fact that it'll be different in every conceivable way because of the exponential increase of technology. We have 1,000 years. Yeah, people are still going to need to eat. You know, society is going to retain somewhat of its structure. People will stay mortal, more or less. Unless we can import our consciousness into a computer and then we'll become immortal. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, right? See, the biggest changes in 1,000 years are going to be in science and technology. So join us as we do a deep dive into the technological advancements that are likely to take place by 3000. Number 7. All of the world's electricity is now carbon-free. By 2060, both coal and oil will have been virtually eliminated from the global electricity supply. Possibly every new building in the world would use solar power in some way or some other renewable energy. By the 2070s, even the poorest nation would have achieved zero carbon electricity. Solar cells are nearing their theoretical limit for efficiency, but with the help of nanotechnology perfecting their internal structures, they can access a wider range of the electromagnetic spectrum. They're also sturdier and more long-lasting than ever. Wind turbine projects have also continued to expand in recent decades and will soon be powerful enough to change the air currents of the Earth. Number 6. Exploring the solar system. Most of the solar system is being explored using space elevators and space hotels, and they're affordable for most people in the middle-class bracket. As for people in upper-class brackets, trips around the moon are now available. Mars now has multiple permanent bases on its surface. By 3000, the population, infrastructure, and self-sufficiency elements will all have grown so much to an extent that Mars will soon be ready to declare its independence. There's been a steady inrush of civilians who've been willing to leave Earth and start a new life on the Red Planet. Number 5. Tunneling connecting us and Europe. A tunnel connecting the US and Europe is being built. This tunnel is the largest and most ambitious engineering project ever undertaken. It's being built with the help of advanced automation and robots controlled by very powerful AIs. With hyper-fast magnetic levitation of up to 4,000 miles per hour, passengers using this tunnel can travel from the US to Europe in just an hour. The train cars operate in a complete vacuum. This project cost around $85 to $175 billion. Number 4. Picotechnology. Picotechnology is becoming practical. Technology on the scale of trillionths of a meter is becoming possible now. Picotechnology is orders of magnitude smaller than nanotechnology of earlier decades. Among other uses, it allows the structure and properties of individual atoms to be altered through the manipulation of energy states within electrons. This is going to help humans create new and exotic forms of matter that's harder and lighter in weight than carbon nanotubes. It'll also help them create an accurate scan of human brains with subatomic details. Number 3. Viruses simulated at a quantum level. Due to advances in lattice quantum chromodynamics, the vast majority of viruses have now been accurately modeled and simulated down to the quantum level. This provides a complete picture of these tiny organisms of about 20 to 300 nanometers in size. This complete understanding of viruses could help provide absolute immunity against said viruses. As these advancements continue to develop, a new insight into the nature of matters will become possible. This means that we might be able to perfectly simulate a human body, which would enable us to produce synthetic human bodies with improved functionality. Number 2. Advanced nanotech clothing. Another advancement would be in the clothing section. Advanced nanotech clothing is also to become popular by the 3000s, most likely. Complete wardrobes will no longer be necessary as one of nanotech's suits perform the function of many and can transform into an endless variety of styles and shapes. Although they're mostly restricted to authorized personnel, military forces, and special government elites, several nanotech suits are finding their way to the mainstream public. In the modern days, a high-end modern closet may consist of a thin compartment built into a wall or a floor, and this compartment would contain nanobots containing molecular building materials. A user can stand and touch this compartment and issue instructions on what to create using voice commands or thoughts. Each nanobot is then programmed with the final clothing design and then set into motion. Nanobots can take shape around a person's body into wearable outfits. This whole process is completed within fractions of seconds. Depending on the outfit's function, it would contain carbon nanotubes, or programmable matters, nanomaterials, claytronic, or any other number of useful materials. When it comes to functionality, they could be harder than steel to stop a knife or bullet, and they can also become cushion-like in circumstances of accidents or falls. They can protect firefighters and other rescue workers from hazards like fire or radiation. They can instantly adjust themselves into any useful shape during emergencies. For example, if a person is injured, it can administer life-saving drugs, and medical nanobots could be used to seal a wound. In space, it could protect people from micrometeorites, cosmic rays, or sudden changes in air pressure and other hazards. They can also float if a person is drowning. Medical devices in these outfits can monitor for diseases of all types, like cancer and other infections. It can also alert the user before any damage occurs. The power needed for these various functions is provided by nanowires embedded throughout the clothing material that captures solar energy to generate power. Number 1. Transhumanism. Significant technological advancements are changing the world forever. Starting with transhumanism, which has become mainstream, by the way. For the first time in history, some humans are becoming more robotic than biological. The average person now has access to a wide variety of biotechnology implants and medical devices, which include fully artificial organs that never fail, bionic eyes and ears that can provide Superman-like senses, nanoscale brain interfaces to augment a user's intelligence, or synthetic blood and other bodily fluids that can filter deadly toxins and provide hours' worth of oxygen on a single breath. The most adventurous among us are volunteering to have their arms and legs amputated to gain prosthetic arms and legs that boost their strength and endurance by orders of magnitudes. There's even several artificial skin-based nanotechnologies that can be used to give the appearance of natural skin when applied to metallic limbs. If a fully upgraded person in the 3000s were to travel 100 years into the past, they would be superior to everyone in almost every imaginable way. They could run faster for longer distances than the greatest athletes of all time. They could survive multiple gunshot wounds. They could even cope with some of the most hostile conditions on Earth without much trouble. They would be considered geniuses because of the nanobots and brain-computer interfaces merging directly with their brains. Even developing countries have access to some of these available upgrades due to exponential decreases in price. Humanity has really outdone its capabilities and is advancing with each step, and soon the world will be unrecognizable. Let us know about your thoughts on these advancing technologies in the comment section down below.